somebody wants to be, let me tell you this, okay? A motherfucker like Joseph Sadipe, a nigga who don't do shit in Africa. A no talented motherfucker like that talking about I'm separating somebody. Bitch, I'm here every motherfucking day in this country doing some work, bringing everybody together. Okay? You not doing shit. You probably somewhere in fucking France, nigga. You don't do a motherfucking thing for this motherfucking continent, nigga. That's me doing the shit. So a no talent nigga like you, I can never accept talking shit about me. When you somewhere working for the white man, somewhere wherever the fuck you at, and I'm here every single day, 600 days working straight, trying to bring all our people together. And this is what I'm gonna tell you. We all are fucked up, including me.
Yes, guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Joseph Sadipe. Yes, and I'm very sure you've just seen the video I've just inserted into before I came on the screen. Yes, that was the belligerent and oversensitive human that is O'Shea Duke Jackson. This is someone that actually, I mean, I don't know if you know who O'Shea Duke is. He's someone I actually have a lot of respect for, if I'm going to be very honest with you. This is an individual that's very influential in the Black Manosphere space, in the Black YouTube space, and I followed him. I follow all the stuff he does. I watch his podcast that he has in Uganda called Kiganda, I believe it is. I've been on his dating show, the Pan-African dating show. You know, support the brother. Do you know what I'm saying? You know, I only knew about him through Kevin Samuels, because Kevin Samuels has spoken about O'Shea a few times on his live in 2020, I believe, or 2021. I can't remember. So I basically, obviously, got a situation on my, I got the notification on my on my phone, and I was watching his live, and he just started going off. He started going off on Nigerians and blah blah blah, or Nigerians were holding him accountable over something. So basically, this is what happened. So O'Shea had a podcast where he was responding to the comments made by Akon, with him saying that Nigerians are the smartest in Africa or in the world, or something of that nature. And he just went on to the podcast and he was saying a lot of things. He was just in his emotions. Do you know what I mean? Just literally just spilling out all sorts. And I watched the podcast. When I started watching the podcast, I'm like, oh my God, here we go with O'Shea Duke again. He's always about this tribalism, this, FBA situation. But, the more he spoke on the actual podcast, I started to understand that I felt as though that there might have been some jealousy in there. Maybe because Akon did not mention African Americans as the smartest, because he alluded to the fact that Akon, was made famous by the African Americans, with the African American community and blah blah blah. And maybe he was upset that he wasn't talking about the AA. At first, that was a feeling I had at first, and secondly, then he went into this scamming situation with the problem with Akon, with all of the scamming, stuff that is, that's been attached to his name. His failed crypto, his failed, what's the other stuff that he was doing with the Acorn city that he hasn't actually built nothing. Then I went into, so I had that feeling about that. Maybe that's the reason why he's saying that. And then he kept talking, and he sort of started having conversations about how, if Nigerians are the smartest, why is their country like that? And that's where I started to have, this guy, man. Surely he has to know that it's because of our terrible leadership that we've had. colonial thinking. These guys were military men that overtook all of the civilian people that was there, that was actually building Nigeria, killed all of them. And this group of military men have consistently ruled Nigeria since 1966, because 1966 was when the incredible coup happened, where he killed Tafawa Balewa, Ahmadu Bello, and a lot of those people. And it's been like a military, sort of government ever since. And a lot of them are puppets for the West. We all know that. So basically, when he started saying, "Oh, if that," it was just his emotions were everywhere. I couldn't kind of hold on to exactly what the feeling was. And then he comes back and says, "Oh well, Nigerian Americans are the best performing people over America," which is true. They are. And Afrobeat is highly very influential, which it is. And Nigerians as a culture is highly influential, period. All of the stuff that is happening with the music and the culture, with the movies, is what it is. So I think at one point I'm thinking that he's upset because he didn't mention African Americans. At one point I think he's sort of jealousy because he's very tribal, he's very tribalistic, O'Shea, if you listen to him talk. He's about the African American community. On one hand I thought, okay, he's upset because he didn't speak about African Americans. And in the second hand, he decided to attack why Nigerians aren't, why Nigeria in the first place, the country isn't functioning. And then he said something about, oh, they say Nigerians is for Nigerians. And I'm like, I'm a Nigerian and I've never heard that before. The colonizers didn't feel that way. That's why they colonized Nigeria and they're still there. The Lebanese are still there, doing whatever they're doing with the oil. So I really didn't understand where a lot of this sort of venom was coming from. So anyway, he ended the podcast. I was like, well, okay. He held Akon accountable. He held a lot of African people accountable for not holding other Africans accountable when they scam, which actually a lot of Nigerians do. And then I couldn't pinpoint what the venom was. So I didn't sort of comment or do anything in regards to that. I just kind of thought, because he ended the podcast on a positive about, oh yeah, we're all together, and which I think it is. So he went on his live today, which is obviously what you've seen in the video at the beginning of this video. And I typed in like, yo, this is O'Shea again with his, FBA thing, and I'm saying basically like, this separation has to stop. And he just went off. Talented, you this, you that, like literally low energy, low blow, low. Like, I'm like, bro, do you not understand the fact that I just mentioned this separation? You as an adult black male that is for Africa, you say you are for Africa and you are for oneness of black people. You have to understand that this separation, this tribalistic mindset was how it was easy for them to colonize us in the beginning. So my conversation in regards to that was basically, if this is the reason why they colonized us in the beginning, how dare we, the new generation of black people on this planet, try to do the same thing that allowed the colonials to come in and separate us and colonize us. And they're still colonizing us with neo-colonialism now. That was my conversation with him. How in heaven's name do I deserve all that disrespect? Like, oh, you're not talented, you're this, you're probably somewhere in France. I lived in Africa. Don't need to tell me about Africa. I was born in England, but I got taken back to Africa when I was young. I left Africa when I was 18, come back into the UK again. So you telling me that, because obviously he's having crazy experiences, is new for him because he spent all his life in America, coming to Africa, obviously with the light cutting off and water and all of that stuff. That was normal in Nigeria. We have to go fetch water and flush the toilet sometimes. It's just what it is. And obviously I don't know whether this experience has got him in a pickle or whatnot. But I'm like, what was the disrespect in that? it would be a disjustice for us as a newer group of adult black people to hang on to this tribalistic mindset. Because what that tribalistic mindset does means that another group can come in and separate us again and come in with their own colonialism. The, the tribalistic mindset does not help anyone. It doesn't help, especially we black people. This thing about FBA, you're black, you're FBA, you think, and there was a Tarish Nasheed video that I saw a couple of years ago, maybe a year or two ago, where it was just sort of making up fun of Africans and stuff, or we're this, we're that. I'm like, you have to understand that you're doing the job of the colonials by continuing this tribalistic mindset. That was my comment to him. It was just like, you need to chill out on that. You understand what I'm saying to you? So he goes on this attack, emotional, belligerent attack, like on me, and like, you don't even know who I am, and you just, it's literally stupidity at its finest. But and I stayed on his live. I watched his live. I was able to hear the man out because I'm not, I try to be logical in most situations. And then obviously he ended up with coming, I don't know, it's like some weird, he's like up and down. So he finished it on a positive note after going off on some like, because apparently after the podcast, a few Nigerians must have attacked him on that point, like he's hating on Nigerians or whatever. But then he finished on a nice note, and oh yeah, we're all together, we all won, we're gonna fight, we're gonna do this. Does that mean you should lambast someone that is actually telling you like, yo, this separation shit, it doesn't work? That was the mistake of our ancestors. That was the mistake of our ancestors. They were so caught up in the tribalistic mindset, they even helped the colonials, because they're beefing them. They have the colonials to enslave other black people because they're beefing with them because of tribes. Not knowing that after they helped those people by getting enslaved, the colonials, another batch came out a few years later and enslaved them as well. So this sort of mentality of tribalistic thing, which I was trying to explain to him in the short words that I used, was just trying to tell him like, yo bro, you need to, like, this is not going to work. This is the same mistakes that our ancestors made. You cannot use your platform to create separation among us. It's not happening. The music became Afrobeats became a way for us to connect. The first Black Panther was a way that we all connected. What happened a year after the first Black Panther? Everyone started this separation shit. We were all one when the first Black Panther came out. And then what did they do in the part 2 of Black Panther? Because they knew that movie was about to bring us all together, but some African Americans decided that, oh, he's FBA, he's this and that. This separation shit is going to cost us as a community if we make the same mistakes our ancestors make. We don't know what tomorrow holds. Maybe one day the Europeans will decide to leave and we have better contracts with the new guys that are coming in there. Maybe it's because we have to come together at one point for us to set the foundations for the generations to come. So this sort of tribalistic mindset, to me, when I hear people say that, especially him, because he is a very, very emotionally tribalistic human being. We are not perfect, because I respect the brother. I seen what he's done for all the black men. I see the great things he's doing in Uganda. I give him credit for that. Do you know what I'm saying to that? But this tribalistic mindset ain't getting us nowhere, bro. Like, no fucking where, bro. Do you know what I mean? So him just kind of going off and just like insulting another black man you've never met before, calling him no talented, I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Do you know what I'm saying? I now understand that we should all call out the scamming that has become terrible within the Nigerian community, with the African community, because he mentioned people who scam you with the smile and all. The worst of us, because of the hunger, and I'm not making an excuse for that, because of the terrible leadership a lot of African countries have had for many years, they don't see each other as, the people want to eat. They want to stab each other in the back. I've had experiences of that even within my own family. You understand what I'm saying to you? So I understand what that, getting one up on another black person is within the African, continent. You understand what I'm saying to you? The scamming, and obviously the blatant scamming by, the Senegalese singer. You understand what I'm saying to you? So, like, I was very disappointed, very, very, very disappointed about that. The kind of bullshit he said. It was just really, really low down, low energy, terrible. Oh yeah, and he say, can you finish the video? Oh yeah, we're all gonna fight. We're all gonna fight. Nah, bro, nah. You understand? Every community has its faults. The African community has its faults right now. The Nigerian American community has been given a lot of credit in America and in many places, because it's very evident they're the highest performing black group, any minority group, one of the highest performing minority groups in America. You understand what I'm saying to you? And he's arguing, why didn't you go build in Nigeria? Because the government, we have terrible leaders. We've had wars. We've had coups. We've had people that called them out and got killed. People are leaving Nigeria for the same reason that you're talking of. Why didn't they go back? Go back and do what? Because the leadership is terrible. Uganda is a lot better with its leadership. Kenya is a lot better with its leadership. And you got, Rwanda, of course, is better. Or a lot of East African countries are a lot better in leadership than Nigeria. All our presidents and leaderships are all selfish in Nigeria. They will allocate money for roads, and the politician will split the money. This is a real fact. The new president got 800 million from a loan, and they're already splitting it up because people are wanting new offices. They want the increase in their salary. Do you know what I'm saying to you? So, like, this whole thing about, Nigeria, if they're doing well over there, if they're that good, why the country is because we have terrible leadership. And you don't need to be attacking all of that and trying to, because the confusing thing about him is, like, he started at one point and then he headed another. He's like, his emotions are everywhere with that conversation, because he started with going off on Nigerians and then he ended up saying, oh yeah, we're all together and all of that. So he's like, bruh, that's terrible, bruv. I'm really disappointed in my man, bruv. Really, really disappointed. He was just like, it was on one part, I thought it was jealousy against Nigerians doing well, and another part, I thought it was like, because the Nigerian Americans are surpassing African Americans in America right now in terms of achievements. Because I thought maybe that was it, and he was, oh yeah, and then I think he's a bit of everything, if I'm going to be honest with you. Listen to his life, he's a bit of everything, but him pointing that out and separating situation is not good as a person with a platform. You understand what I'm saying to you? With a platform, God has blessed you with this platform, you have a lot of followers, there has to be a better responsibility than doing that. Nigerians have their faults. As much as we're performing very highly, we have the highest scammers from Nigeria as well, and we have the terrible historic leaders that we've had. You understand? So does African Americans. African Americans, culture-wise, we listen to your music, we grew up on your movies, we grew up on everything. If you want to do that separation thing, it's funny because I've never seen it as a separation thing until I watched Coming to America, and Eric LaSalle started to make that joke to Eddie Murphy about, you guys ride lions and shit like that. But that was the thinking. That was a colonial construct for us, for all the black people outside of Africa to hate Africa. I had the same thing in the late 90s when I came back into the UK with the Jamaicans and the Caribbeans. They look down on us. The new generation, Afrobeats has changed that for the new generation. They used to make fun of our accents when we were in the UK, when I was in college in the UK here, when I was like 19, 18. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Like, it was terrible. Girls would take the piss out of you because of your accent. And now, come after 2010, 2012, everything has changed because of the explosion of Afrobeats. It's brought us back together a little bit. It's time to let us see each other as one. The Rastas, they were the only ones that always saw African, Jamaicans, Africans, or black people as one. But a lot of the other citizens in the early days was terrible. So I know from a fact that was a colonial construct. It was important for them to separate us like that. So you're using your platform to create a further separation, to start talking about all of this, FBA, this, this and this, and it's terrible. The conversation should be about how we come together, even with all of our differences. They are saying there's a lot of things that we're all connected in, that is beyond just the obvious, our obvious hue that we share in common. A lot. The way we do things is a black way of doing things. It's not just regarded as just FBA or Kenyan or Uganda. There's a lot, even within the different cultures, there's similarities. We should embolden these similarities as opposed to talk about the separations. This is my message to O'Shea Duke Jackson, man. You're a lot more responsible. You've done a lot for black YouTube, but bro, that was some fuck shit you did, bro. That was some fuck shit, bro. That was some low down, low energy, terrible thinking. Change your thinking, bro. What you're using your platform to do is separation. And it's the same mistakes our ancestors has made. We should not be promoting that as a community. We should learn from the mistakes they've made, so we can do better for the generations to come. Because one day will come, we will all need each other. I don't know how, I don't know where, just a feeling I have. And it's great what you're doing in Uganda, by the way. I give you credit for that. And yeah, get yourself some water tank and some solar energy and sort out your shit. Do you know what I mean? You'll be alright. But yeah, still disappointed in you, bro. You know what I mean? And for anyone watching, it just go look at his live. I don't know if he still has it up. It's very, very, I hope we can do better. I hope this conversation can continue. My name is Joseph Sadiq, or Joseph Shadikbek, right? And make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, leave your comments. Let's have conversation in the comments. Until next time, you have a blessed day. All right, bye.